residential tech talk, lighting specialist to residential tech.
Welcome to Residential Tech Talks. I'm Jeremy Glowacki, Executive Editor of Residential Tech Today. On this week's podcast, Tim Bigoness joins us from Atlanta, Georgia, where he is Chief Marketing Officer and VP of Sales for D-Tools, the provider of business software for low-voltage system integration firms. Founded in 1998 by Chairman Adam Stone, D-Tools pioneered the category of data-driven proposal system design and field service management in the system integration industry with its on-premises System Integrator software. In 2019, D-Tools introduced its cloud-based platform, D-Tools Cloud, which is designed to help smaller companies and projects streamline sales processes from initial client engagement through field service management. Then, just last month, the company made a huge splash when they announced that their D-Tools Cloud Solo plan would be available for free, effective immediately. To learn more about this important news for the company and its potential impact on the productivity and professionalism of the residential tech integration industry, I reached out to a longtime veteran of D-Tools and someone who I've enjoyed chatting with at so many events over the past 15 to 20 years, our guest today, Tim Bigoness. Tim, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Jeremy. How you doing? Yeah, I was thinking about that, and it's like it's going to be 19 years this year that I've been with D-Tools.
Wow. One little break there in there that I noticed. I forgot you had did you step away for a year or so and come back at one point?
I was gone for about, I look at it as my sabbatical. I was gone for about, 9 months back in 2009. Yeah.
It's forever ago. Jeez.
I know.
I've got a kid that's almost that old at this point. It's so crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Time flies.
Well, so we're recording this on January 24th. How's the winter been in Atlanta so far?
It's cold. So I'm sorry, but I'm a Bay Area boy, and we just moved here about 3 years ago. I've never lived anywhere else except San Francisco Bay Area. And I thought I moved to Seattle because it rains so much here. The first year we were here, it rained all the time. And then this year, it's been really cold. It got to 14 degrees this week. And okay, for, look, normal people that live in like real weather, Minnesota, New York, Michigan, Chicago, I know that's being a wuss. But if you're from California, that's cold.
So it's cold no matter where you are. That's cold. We've had that too, but I can't believe it's hit the Southeast like that. That's nuts.
Oh. So finally this week it's gotten warmer, but yeah, it's been cold. I'm getting ready to go to ISC next week in Barcelona, and I'm looking forward to that as it'll be in the 60s, and that'll be nice.
Yeah, the one ISC show that I attended was in the prior location. And Amsterdam. My brain was locked up there for a second. And it was, there was some kind of a weird Russian, it sounds like
year. Oh yeah. My God. It was
the weather system like shifted down, and it was all this like furs and tundra weather. And my wife came with me. It was great. We were going to do some museum, touring and things like that in my free time, quote unquote, which I didn't have a lot of. But I brought like a cool looking coat, like, I'm going to be cool looking like in Europe and all that stuff, not thinking about cold weather and actual functionality of a wardrobe. And it was so cold. I could never get my feet warm.
It was so cold that year. Even the Norwegians and Swedish were going, man, it's cold. And I remember we were walking to the convention center every day, that particular show, and there was this guy out there in the freezing cold just playing a drum set.
Oh man.
He was drumming, and every day I walked by, I gave him some money because I felt so bad for him because he was out there drumming. He has a smoke hanging out of his mouth. He was fine. I was literally inside the exhibit hall. Everybody was laughing at me because I had my Nanook of the North hat on and my scarf. I was so bundled up. I'll never forget that because it was so cold. And then I remember the last day of the show, I was walking back from the thing, and I gave him some money, and he's like, you want to sit down and play? And so I'm like, oh, sure, of course. So I sat down at his kit and played. And I remember Jeff Oakes, who's on our team, was with me, and he took this picture. And there's this picture. The only thing you see, like a little strip where my glasses are, and the rest was like bundled hat, gloves, coat, like the kid from Christmas Story,
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
Meanwhile, all the locals are on their bikes, which they do there, with no hats on, nothing covering their ears. Like, how do you deal with that? I can't when it gets down below like 25.
60.
Yeah, okay. I need my ears covered. I just like
I need a hat. That's why I always have my hat. My head's cold.
Yeah, I wondered if, I know you've got a thing with, got to get out of the sun now and all that stuff, and you're known for being in a hat, but I was going to wear a hat for the show. I picked this up. We did a family trip down to Disney over the holidays and went to the Irish pub. Everything is like
I became the hat guy, which was I really never understood when I was younger. I was not going to be that guy, hat guy. But my when I lost my hair, my skin doctor, my dermatologist was like, "Hey, you got to wear a hat, man." And I got tired of wearing baseball hats, and then started wearing a fedora, and then had people just sending, friends were, "Oh, that's a great hat for you," and then they send me hats, and so I just turned into the hat guy.
Oh, that's cool. I need to have people sending me hats. That's kind of fun. Cool. Yeah. Well, I haven't been as good about protecting my bald head as I should, but it's
time. This is just a riveting. I'm sure your viewers are just enjoying the hell out of this.
Hey, you know what? We people need to get to know us as people and warm up to
these are the things, by the way, people. These are the things that we talk about when we see each other at these industry events, and it looks like we're having these really high level conversations.
Yeah, it's really what you take home with you that you've enjoyed the most. Honestly, you can say the same thing over and over again all day, but it's the personal contact that really.
Well, we had fun on that trip to Puerto Rico that year.
Oh yeah, I know. I wondered if you remember that. My kids were a lot smaller then, and my youngest daughter she's pretty tentative about a lot of things, and our tour guide was so great, and she got her out in that rainforest and in the water, and it was like the most amazing thing. I really enjoyed that little trip.
That was definitely a memorable trip.
Yeah, that was that an HTSA event? That was, right? Yeah, that was really cool. Well, so kicking off into a little bit more about your career, like you said, you've been doing this. Well, you've been in the work world for 20 some years: sales, marketing, public relations, business development, product management. You originally joined D-Tools in 2005. Yeah. And I feel like you're one of the people synonymous with the brand at this point because you've been there so long. And of course, Randy Stearns, the CEO, and so well respected at this point. But the company was around 7 years old when you joined.
Yeah.
Can you kind of compare what it was like back then to what it's evolved to today?
Well, yeah, and the really cool thing about our company is that our CTO and I arrived right about the same time, within a month of each other, and it was this small. We had a pretty well known brand even back then. I think we were on SI version 4 when we joined. Corey Crayles, our CTO, and I joined. And it was just a small, startup-y kind of environment, entrepreneurial, can do. Everybody was wearing a lot of hats and swinging a big bat, and it's been really fun to grow the company, but it really still has that same feel. We have long tenured team people that if you're a certain kind of work style or personality or whatever, we have a really good environment for that kind of. I think it's kind of an entrepreneurial spirit, self-motivated, self-starting. Even though we had 2 solid offices, we've always had some remote workers, and the people that tend to do well in our company are really self-starters, proactive, figuring out what needs to be done, and then doing it. and we have a lot of people that have been with the company for 10 plus years. So they come, they have a good environment, and they stick. And the thing that I love the most about, really to this day, coming to work every day, is that it doesn't feel like a big company. We're definitely bigger than when I joined, and we've got really good established processes. We're a mature company, but we're really, we still try and retain that entrepreneurial spirit and solving problems for our customers. And every day is still a little different, and it's exciting for me because I can tell our team that what we do on a day-to-day basis matters. Your work is important. Like, we're not this big monolithic company where you're filling a role that someone filled before you and someone's going to fill after you're gone, and you just plug and play. It's really everybody's really important, and we're still a small enough size where there's no place to hide. You've got to produce, but we have such everybody is really kind of dedicated to our success, our customers' success, and we really do like each other and believe in what we're doing. And I think when you're fortunate enough to be able to build a team and then continue to add like-minded people to that team, it's an awesome place to be. And I still, after 18 going on 19 years now, I love what I do, and I believe in our mission.
What was it like when Randy Stearns became CEO there? It seems like he was so well liked in the industry as an integrator, and of course went through the VIA thing, which is like a big, kind of story, but then, kind of fell apart, but still very well respected despite all that stuff. And really smart MBA and all that for our industry. That's kind of rare. How did his coming into the company kind of change things, if anything?
Well, I think so. It's been now, I guess Randy's been with us for 8 years now, and seems like it's at the point where it seems like he's always been here as well.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
at the time, we had a very strong executive team. It was Adam Stone, right, founder,
Mhm.
myself, Corey Crail, who was the CTO, and Steve Collard, our COO. And we had been together by then, 10 years, 11 years, and very strong team. And it came about because we were trying to figure out, where we kind of needed to go next. And Randy kind of came in to work with us on, determining a plan for the next level. And he came in kind of as a consultant, to Adam and the team to kind of help us identify opportunities. And it was really kind of organic how it all happened, because we did this strategic planning session, which we still do every year. We have an offsite retreat where we spend a couple of days outlining our strategic objectives for the business for the year. So we were doing one of these sessions, and it became really clear just through that session that Randy was a great fit for us. And we would have never been able to just have anybody just kind of come in and assimilate. We're very close. Our team's been very close, and we still are. And so, having somebody of Randy's caliber that wanted to come in and be a part of what we're doing, Randy was our second customer from the very beginning. He was a total believer in the promise, the brand promise, and the value of what D-Tools could bring to a company. And his company, Engineered Environments, was the embodiment of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
He recognized very, very early on how software could help his team be more productive. And when he came to us, he really really wanted to be able to be in a position to help share that with the industry as well, coming from the various places that he's been. And he understands what it's like to run a successful integration company. And our missions are aligned, and we've been fortunate enough to be able to add some industry veterans to the team. Barry McCorkle, who was with Nationwide and was a very successful dealer and had his own integration company, he joined us about 5 years ago. Dave Kern, who was a very successful integrator and then had a data services company, has been great friends for years, and we were able to have Dave join us and start building out our data team. And then last year, Jason Knott, who's Jason Knott, a longtime friend, obviously, very well respected in the industry. But most importantly, very like-minded in terms of our company, our mission, and what we are pretty passionate about, which is helping dealers run better businesses. So, everybody throughout our team, top to bottom, is kind of all pulling on the same rope in that regard. And, we have two very viable and valuable products in the marketplace, and they kind of serve different, I wouldn't say different size companies. It started that way. Like DTools Cloud, when we first started, was, a young product. We were just bringing it to market. It was really geared towards the smaller residential AV integrators who really didn't need all of the customization, deep engineering, and workflow that SI provides, right? And so we have these two products that really serve a wide range of integrators, but the value proposition really is the same. If you can utilize our solution, we can help optimize operations, we can help streamline some critical business processes, and we can provide you with some insights and information on how your business is running so you can kind of make better decisions as you move forward. And that's really what our company's about, is helping companies be better through the use of our software.
Yeah, can we just dig in a little bit deeper into the differences between SI and DTools Cloud, and maybe you said how it initially was DTools Cloud obviously was for a smaller project or type kind of integrator, but SI helped you to grow outside of the residential integration industry into commercial and broadcast, other things like security, bigger operations and bigger projects perhaps. But then cloud has evolved to be more robust maybe than it was originally intended. Absolutely. Or originally.
And we're continuing to, build out that end-to-end feature set. Both of our solutions can really help an integrator's company, right? I would say the difference is between SI and cloud. There's a couple of differences. Obviously, cloud is SaaS-based, it's cloud-based, it's browser-based, it's agnostic. It's a true SaaS solution. SI has been in the market for 25 years. It is primarily an on-premises solution, even though we host the server in the cloud through Amazon Web Services, can be accessed through anywhere. But that's a very deep application with very deep workflow integration, customization, detailed documentation, engineering integrations that really caters to there's three main differences if we look at where we are right now. Number one, detailed engineering drawing integrations. So SI integrates directly with Visio and directly with AutoCAD to be able to generate more than just floor plans. Very detailed elevation drawings, plan views, schematic views so that you can basically connect the systems within the drawings. You can then generate wire labels, wire checklists. So for projects that require, let's say, a very deep level of documentation, SI would be that type of solution. Additionally, SI has a very deep and customizable workflow. So when we're working with certain integration companies, depending on how they work, how they're construed, different types of departments, we can tailor and customize workflows based very, very specifically on how that company operates. And then there's another level of reporting, business intelligence, and I would say insights that are available to the business owners that is provided by SI. So if the type of company, and now we have smaller companies that are on SI as well, so it's not just for bigger companies, but the workflow is really geared to be customized and tailored to meet a specific need for that company. There's a ton of, custom fields and configurable workflows, and it's still really based on companies that require a large number of documentation, printed documentation, very, custom reports, things like that. Details Cloud is more prescriptive. And what we mean by that is, you can do some level of customization, but it's really more along the lines of these are best practices, this is how you operate, and it's very much designed to be an electronic solution. So when we're working with companies and we're trying to do a discovery on what solution might work best for them, we start the conversation always with what problems are they trying to solve? Right. And as we get into the conversations and we gain a better understanding of really what their needs are, we can then recommend the best solution for them. We have a number of larger companies that are on DTools Cloud. We have a number of smaller companies that are on SI. So while at the beginning it was very easy to say, well, it's kind of like QuickBooks. They had QuickBooks Enterprise, which was their fully formed enterprise solution, and they came back with QuickBooks, and they came out with QuickBooks Online. Right, it was a little lighter weight. Probably didn't have the depth of functionality that the enterprise edition had, but that continued to evolve as well. And now companies can kind of choose what solution they want to be on, and we're in that. We're still building out the DTools Cloud feature set to become an end-to-end solution, but we're making very good progress on that. But SI, we continue to develop on as well. In fact, we have a new version of SI coming out February 6th, version 21. So we continue to actively develop on both platforms because they meet different needs and they can respond to the different needs of an organization.
Does SI require a company that has someone who is basically kind of like the caretaker of the system within the company, whether that's a CTO type of person or project manager, somebody that needs to do a little bit more of that upfront work or training on the software as opposed to cloud, which
Yeah, I mean
maybe hit
the
the
ramp
ground
up
running?
time on SI, is longer than DTools Cloud. That does require training. There's more setup involved. Now both solutions have access to our integrated product library, which has always been a key driver of how our software works. That library, we get information directly from our manufacturer and supplier partners. And originally on the SI side, it was all geared to everything that was needed to be able to design a system, specify a system, propose that solution. And so the type of information that we've always worked through our supplier partners for are things that go beyond just the sale to engineering, specifications, dimensions, inputs and outputs, all of that deep information that an integrator needs to be able to properly design and document these systems, right? Now, we have the same with DTools Cloud, except right now there's no engineering integration right? But we're still working directly with our manufacturer and supplier partners. And the thing that we've added over the last 5 years is dealer specific pricing.
Mm.
So in the past, we provided MSRP, and then we have really good tools in SI to manage, dealer costs and enable dealers to set their pricing. And those catalog management tools are second to none, by the way. So if someone's even uploading their own price list or adding products on their own, we have a lot of automation built into SI for them to be able to manage their pricing. They can also now enter in their specific manufacturer information. If they're a authorized dealer, they can put in their account information and get their specific pricing levels. So their costs. So we cut down a lot of the manual part of catalog management. And because we're working directly with the manufacturers and suppliers, we are not providing them that pricing. They are. We are having the manufacturers authorize and approve the dealers so that they know it's the source of truth. They're being approved by their suppliers, not by us. We're passing that through, but they're dealing directly with their, either their distributors, or if they work directly with a brand, they're getting it from the brand. So it is, directly from the source of truth. We're not just, we don't just go out and collect data and publish it. We're working directly with the manufacturers and the distributors.
Now, back when Details first, entered the market, there was really nobody else doing this. And over the years, there have been other companies that have come along and become competitors, which is validating for anybody that does one thing. You want to have competitors. It shows you that it's a viable
market
category
no
market.
Competitors
whatever
means no market usually.
Right, exactly. And how have the addition and competitive nature of having other companies out there pushed D-Tools to adapt to different things, to come up with new solutions? Has it affected anything with the way the company has evolved and created solutions?
Well, what I would say is, competition's good for everybody. I think it's you want to be better. You don't always have to win, right? You always want to win, but I truly believe that competition raises the bar for everybody, right? There's always been competition, by the way. Even since I've been there were competitors back then. I remember BidMagic and Simply Reliable and some others, right? So we've always had, there's been some level of competition, but honestly, still our biggest competition is Excel or inaction, right?
Yeah.
There's other competitors in the market that are doing really, really well. And I always look at it as, we may not be for everybody, right? There has to be a fit. And sometimes there's not a fit, and another solution may be better for the customer. And if that's the case, then Godspeed, right? The ultimate goal is and this kind of goes towards, our D-Tools Cloud Solo Plan announcement is, we believe that every integrator should be able to generate really good proposals. I think it's a bedrock. It's what's going to get business moving, right? Being able to provide their customers with a easy to understand, accurate proposal that helps demonstrate that they can do the job, I think is critical. You deal with some people and they have a list of equipment and a price at the bottom. Okay, that's fine. That's great. Some people just have a sheet of paper. Some people have an Excel spreadsheet. Some people are doing them out of QuickBooks. That's fine, right? We personally believe that, we have our proposal tools are second to none. But then we can help the dealers and the integrators go beyond the proposal. We have project management tools. We have service management tools. They can do purchasing. They can manage that project all the way through. And winning the job is just the first step, Being able to
Mhm.
understand how to accurately account for your labor. That's always
Mhm.
been a hallmark of DTools software. It's not just about the equipment. They're coming to you as the integrator because of your expertise, right?
Mhm.
And your knowledge on how to put the systems together. Our software facilitates that. It facilitates organization. You can arrange things by location. You can arrange things by system. You can add accessories. You can put predetermined packages together. And labor and time to install have always been a critical piece of that. It's
Sure.
not, you know, putting your finger up into the wind and trying to figure out how long it should take. Sure, after being in the market for years or doing a number of jobs, you're going to get naturally better at estimating labor, but really having an understanding and breaking it down by equipment or by system, how long things should take to install can help really give those new integrators into the market an understanding of how valuable the labor is as a part of their business, not just the margin from equipment, right? And then providing a really solid foundation for them to build their business. And we believe that by making that available to everybody, we can introduce them really to the true value of our software. And if they're happy to stay on a free plan and it helps their business, then we feel that we've contributed. Of course, we would like them to go further and grow their business and require more users and require more of the solution that can help them scale their business. And we'd rather help them get started in that way with us. And that's really the driving factor for making DTools Cloud Solo available to everybody.
Yeah.
We
So,
feel it
so,
does kind of help.
so backtracking just a bit. So the Cloud Solo plan is a single user plan
Yeah.
versus for multiple users in a company. So that's how it is differentiated just from Cloud by itself. But it's basically does all the stuff that Solo does. It's just for one user. Is that right?
Yeah, so it enables a dealer to be able to connect to their suppliers, get access to our library, connect with their suppliers, get their dealer specific cost, manage their sales opportunities. Um, so not just create proposals, but really have a pipeline, have an understanding of which level. It's a CRM, helps you manage those sales opportunities. You can generate quotes. You can present proposals to your customers electronically. They can get signed. We have integrations with payment processing companies so they can then collect payment. And we're just about to launch DTools payments, which would be an embedded way for them to do that in a seamless workflow and collect payment. And then they can generate purchase orders and they can send them to their suppliers. They can generate change orders. So what they can't do yet then is add additional members of their team. That would require upgrading to a paid subscription plan,
Mm-hmm.
as well as if they want to utilize our project management and service management features. But even if they upgraded to our lowest level plan, which is called Duo, it's $149 per month. That gives them 2 full Office users. It unlocks all of the capabilities of our platform: project management, service management, and then they get 3 field users as well. So they could really equip a small team for $149 a month, or if they do it annually, it's 10% off of that. And then they can grow as their team grows, and we have other plans that reduce the price per user as they scale. But we really believe that DTools Cloud is very easy to get started. It's easy to use. It's very intuitive, and we think that we can help dealers starting out, or those integrators that have used another solution, or just getting off of their Excel spreadsheet, is a really good way for them to dip their toe in the water without saying, okay, well, we have to make a huge investment in software, right?
Yeah, and
Um,
from a company standpoint, that you basically crunched the numbers and said, we can afford to do this. It's kind of like a gateway solution to get into this, world that for people that just are not doing it or are doing a competitive solution. And you can see the market potential that there's just so many folks that are not customers that should be, and
Yeah.
let's get them over the hump, because there's something just keeping them from doing it, whether it's a small monthly fee or it's the intimidation factor or whatever. You
Yeah.
kind of think
So,
about that.
we feel that this will give us the opportunity to, um, make our software available to a larger group of integrators. And
Yeah.
from there, we believe that if they're successful with our sales tools, we can help them be successful with the rest of the capabilities of our platform.
And do Cloud Solo subscribers, do they get training as well, even though it's a free program?
Yeah, so we have a number of ways for them to get trained. We do weekly training webinars. We've got materials that we're putting together, training videos. We have this great help center. We've got integrated chat that goes to our resource center and can help answer questions. And then we have a dedicated team that really we want these free users to be successful, right? Which means we need to show them how to use it. Fortunately, DTools Cloud's really easy to use, so it's not a heavy lift. It really isn't. They could watch a video, they could attend one of our weekly trainings, and they'll be working.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a lot of complicated setup or a huge learning curve, and so it's really we didn't have a platform to be able to we do this before, and we feel that we can help those dealers get started really really quickly, really easily, and let them discover how easy it is to really generate these awesome proposals for their clients.
And is there any kind of like basic requirement that a Cloud Solo user would need to meet, like requirements that they would need to like you have to fill out something that qualify as a dealer of somebody's products or
Nope,
anything like that?
nope.
You
Just
can
go to
just
our
be like a
website and sign
startup,
up.
just to, yep,
You
really
could
easy.
be, you could be like, I've never done this before, but I want to start doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to show that you're a card carrying member of any society or anything like that. It's
Right.
actually it really is free.
Nice.
Not qualified free.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah. No strings attached. Really, really cool. Great idea. Great that you're able to do this. And hopefully it's very successful. Now you're off to ISE in Barcelona, as you said. So what do you got planned personally? What do you have planned as a company there with your stand, as they call them in Europe?
So at our stand, we will be showing off the latest version of SI, version 21. And we'll also be showing off the latest DTools Cloud. It's we made DTools Cloud available in the UK. It's not quite available in EMEA proper yet,
Okay.
but it is available in the UK. So those UK dealers that will be at ISE, we can show them DTools Cloud, and they can get a free version too. It's not
Okay.
just the US. It's everywhere where DTools Cloud's available. So that's currently US, Canada, and the UK.
Okay. Very good to know.
So we'll be doing our stand, and I
Mhm.
am going to a football game, proper football game on Tuesday night with some colleagues. So that'll be fun. I'll be in
Yeah.
my first football game.
You got to have those experiences. It's not all about the trade show, right? You got to get out there and have something, whether it's a great dinner. Hopefully every night you have a
We'll
great
have good
dinner.
dinners too. You gotta have. It's all about the food.
That's right. Well, hey, keep the head protected and enjoy yourself. Get some warmth for a change this winter. And it's great talking to you, Tim. Thanks for your time
Yeah, no,
today.
thanks for having me. And I always love our conversations, and it's great when we can catch up. So thank you so much.
Tim Bigoness is Chief Marketing Officer and VP of Sales for DTools. You can learn more about his company's free DTools Cloud Solo program and more at d-tools.com. And that wraps up today's show, which was produced by Residential Tech Today, IPW, and Pretty Easy Podcasts. Please check out prettyeasypodcast.com if you want professional and affordable production help on your own podcast. And if you're new to Residential Tech Talks, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you watched or listened to this episode. Also, check out all the latest residential tech news at our magazine's website, restechtoday.com, where you can subscribe to the print or digital magazine and to our Tuesday and Thursday email newsletters. Until next time, please stay safe, stay inspired, and let us know if you have a great story to tell.
Residential Tech Talk, autonomous lighting specialist to residential tech.
Home automation, smart device, home or smart house.
This show was produced by Pretty Easy Podcasts and made possible by listeners like you. If you ever thought of doing your own podcast, please visit prettyeasypodcast.com.